Okay, so we are getting into more Kirill Kaprizov trade talk, courtesy of our friends over at The Athletic. I wanted to go out there and provide y'all with a piece that's not really like a traditional athletic article, but it was a live Q&A with The Athletic's brand new New York Rangers beat writer, Vincent Mercogliano. After joining The Athletic earlier this week, just in time for the start of rookie camp, veteran New York Rangers beat writer Vincent Mercogliano will hang out for an hour today, starting at noon Eastern, to chat with fans about his coverage and the upcoming NHL season. This was from 4 days ago, and there was a very particular segment in the live Q&A, which was written and talked about on Spector's Hockey from yesterday, September 15th. Links to both pages will be in the description below, both the Athletic's interview and the Spector's Hockey write-up, but of course you can already tell from the title and thumbnail of this video. Oh boy, we're talking about Kirill Kaprizov, we're talking about the New York Rangers and how things have become linked. We are diving into the latest speculation here. Vincent Mercogliano was asked what a realistic trade offer from the Rangers would be needed to acquire winger Kirill Kaprizov from the Minnesota Wild. Now, before we dive into that, Spector's note goes out there and gives us some context. Kirill Kaprizov, 28, is in the final season of his contract with the Wild and eligible for UFA status on July 1st. He reportedly rejected an 8-year offer from the Wild worth an AAV of $16 million. Oh boy. Now, I'm just gonna say right here, $16 million from the Minnesota Wild. While financially speaking, you can talk about state taxes and take-home pay and all that other stuff, let's just talk about the dollars on the contract and the teams. $16 million from the New York Rangers. I think a lot of Russians, in particular, just based off of the track record, might actually prefer that. Like, come on. Does that not sound really believable? Think about all the other Russians that have gone over to the New York Rangers in the past for big money deals. All the Russians on the team right now on big money deals. Igor Shesterkin, Artemi Panarin, Vladislav Gavrikov. Like, because it's Kirill Kaprizov, and because he said no to the Wild, there's obviously going to be that immediate instinctual link made by fans and by some media to the New York Rangers. So, we're going to continue on here with the Spector's Hockey article. Mercogliano indicated there are many connections here. Kaprizov shares the same agent as Rangers winger Artemi Panarin. He's also believed to be close to Shesterkin and Gavrikov. He claims that he has heard the Blue Shirts would be on Kaprizov's short list of trade destinations, and Rangers GM Chris Drury has growing cap space and a desire to reshape the roster. So what do you know? Apparently, Kaprizov wants the Rangers. Great. As for the asking price, Mercogliano believes it would include 2 first-round picks and a player like Alexis Lafreniere. Clearing the 23-year-old winger's $7.45 million AAV through 2031-2032 might make it possible to sign Kaprizov and retain Panarin, provided the latter agree to a pay cut. Now, the interesting part about Artemi Panarin is that his contract is also expiring, so both Kaprizov and Panarin with the same agent will need to be in contract negotiations with the same GM of the same team. And if you wanted to go all, like, buddy-buddy on this, like, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm just thinking to myself, what if Kirill Kaprizov says no to the Minnesota Wild $16 million a year, but he goes over to New York, and let's say they offer him, let's say they offer him like 12. And then he says, nah, I'm not going to do that. That's too little. And then the Rangers go, okay, what about we give you 13, but then we also open the negotiations up to Artemi Panarin because you got the same agent. What if we give you guys the same dollar amount? And it becomes a gimmick that these 2 Russian dudes, Kaprizov and Panarin, they become just a total, complete package together with whomever you want at center. Imagine if you're able to get both of those guys to the same contract, and it actually feels proper. Like, obviously that's a pipe dream that's not going to happen, but same agent, same nationality, similar story too. I mean, Artemi Panarin in Columbus almost had the exact same thing happen to him. I don't know if he rejected a $16 million AAV contract, however, but Kaprizov and Panarin together, oh boy. That sounds like it could totally take over the National Hockey League, especially if he prefers to head over to NYR. However, if we go back over onto the article here, the Spectre's hockey article, it dives into Alexis Lafreniere, 2 first-round draft picks. It says here that maybe some sort of a package like that would be reasonable. I don't know. I think really what they had talked about on Sportsnet 650 here in Vancouver is a lot more reasonable. 4 first-round pick caliber assets. Lafreniere and 2 firsts is only 3. I think that would be kind of an underpayment for Kirill Kaprizov, considering it's similar to what Mikko Rantanen got. And I do think that Kaprizov is a better player than Rantanen by a decent amount. He's closer to McDavid than he is to Rantanen, in my opinion. But going back over onto the Spectre's hockey report, there is another write-up here. It's what Larry Brooks wrote about in the New York Post, taking the social media to dismiss the possibility of the Rangers, quote-unquote, hollowing out their roster and draft capital to trade for Kirill Kaprizov, and then signing him for an AAV between 16 and 18 million bucks. He called it about as lucrative as it gets. Spectre's note gives us a very big write-up here. If Kaprizov really wants to join the Rangers, and if they have the space to sign him, then why trade away solid assets to get him? It would give them exclusive signing rights until July 1st, but as Brooks points out, it would do more harm to their roster depth now and in the future. The Rangers are projected to having over $29.6 million in cap space for 27-28, with 17 active roster players. Assuming it costs $18 million annually for Kaprizov, that would leave them with only $11 million, most of which would be used to re-sign Panarin or to find a suitable replacement. Moving Lafreniere's cap hit increases that cap space to over $37 million, giving them more wiggle room to sign Kaprizov and retain Panarin. However, Lafreniere's contract is a tough sell right now, and another disappointing campaign means the Rangers would have to retain a part of it or take on a bad contract in return. Age is also of concern. Kaprizov turns 29, and Panarin is currently 33. The Rangers would be investing a significant amount of that projected cap space into 2 players whose next contracts might not age well, becoming more burdensome during the final years of those deals. But really, if the Rangers get Panarin and Kaprizov, okay, maybe I'm just so blinded by that idea of 2 of the best wingers in the entire league playing alongside of each other in the Big Apple. Like, if he's already wanting to go to New York, then just make this gosh darn thing happen. I think we're starting to see it a lot more nowadays, where players, especially star players, really start to dictate where it is that they go. It's not the NBA we're talking about, but it seems like we're getting towards that territory. Marner wants to go to Vegas? Okay, well, give us Nick Waugh, or else we'll call you out for tampering. Marchand chooses to go to Florida to win a Stanley Cup? Tarasenko chooses to go to Florida to win a Stanley Cup? Panarin chooses to go to New York? He forces his way over there? I mean, it seems like the trend of top-tier players just ending up where it is that they want to go. Seems like this is pretty common nowadays among some of the top superstars. And for Kirill Kaprizov, I'm not saying it's time to panic for Wild fans just yet, but if things continue down this path, I would not be surprised if that panic button, if the casing of the panic button starts to get opened a little bit more day by day, and inevitably somebody panics and presses that big red button. So with all this in mind, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this report. Apparently, Kaprizov might want to go to New York. And whatever trade price might be in there, Lafreniere or otherwise, I want you to let me know what you think about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.